If you're wondering whether he wants you to make a move, here's the truth. He does. He's been waiting for weeks, maybe months, but he's never going to just tell you that. And chances are he's not going to make the first move either. Not because he doesn't like you, because he's absolutely terrified of getting it wrong. You think you're being patient, giving him space to be the guy and take the lead. He thinks he's being careful, making sure he doesn't mess everything up by moving too fast. So you both just sit there, waiting for the other person to do something first. And while you're both waiting around, whatever you could have had just slowly fades away. Women spend months trying to figure out if a guy actually likes them. Men spend those same months trying to figure out if it's okay to show it. That's not dating anymore. That's two people losing something good because nobody wants to go first. And if you really think it has to be him, that guys need to chase, that making a move isn't something you should ever do, you're going to watch a lot of great guys slip away, not because they're not into you, because they don't know if you're into them. There are 7 clear signs that show you he's already interested, already ready, already hoping you'll do something about it. These aren't small hints. These aren't little maybes. These are big, obvious moments where everything he's doing is basically screaming that he wants this to go somewhere. He just needs to know you want it too. If you don't catch these signs when they happen, if you don't act on them, feelings don't just freeze and wait for you. They disappear. Men don't hang around forever, wondering if you like them back. They get tired of waiting. They assume you're not interested. They quietly move on. No big talk, no drama. They just stop trying. This isn't about games or tricks or making anyone do anything. It's out actually seeing what's happening right in front of you and being brave enough to meet him halfway. If you're tired of missing chances with guys who actually wanted you, hit like and subscribe. Now let me walk you through exactly what these 7 signs look like and what he's really hoping you'll do. Number 1, he doesn't leave even when the conversation runs out. Most women completely freak out the second things get quiet. They think silence means he's bored, so they panic and try to fill it. They ask something random. They talk about the weather. They laugh at nothing just to make noise. And by doing that, they totally miss what's actually going on. Here's what you need to know. When a guy isn't into you, awkward silence is his worst nightmare. He'll do anything to get away from it. He'll suddenly need to check his phone. He'll remember he has to go do something. He'll turn his body away and start looking around the room. Everything about him screams, "Get me out of here." But when he actually likes you, quiet doesn't freak him out. It doesn't make him want to run. He stays put. The talking stops, and he's still right there next to you. He's not scrolling through his phone. He's not trying to leave. He's not looking everywhere except at you. He just sits there and lets the moment happen. His body stays pointed toward you. His eyes stay on you. He's in no rush to fix anything or move on to something else. That quiet moment isn't uncomfortable for him. It's actually kind of perfect. Think about it like this. You're sitting together after laughing about something stupid. The laughing dies down, things get quiet, and instead of making some excuse to leave or filling the air with pointless talking, he just stays there, looking at you, saying nothing. He's completely relaxed, not nervous, not checking the time, just comfortable being in that space with you. This is where most women mess it all up. They can't handle the silence. They feel like they need to perform, to keep him entertained, to make sure he doesn't get bored. So they start rambling. They crack some awkward joke. They bring up something totally random just to hear their own voice. And what they don't realize is that silence was actually his way of saying, "I like being here with you. I don't need constant noise. I just want to be close to you right now." When you rush to fill that quiet, you're not being helpful. You're showing him you don't trust the moment. You're telling him that you're uncomfortable with closeness, with things slowing down, with things getting a little more real. And guys notice that. They don't think, "Oh, she's just chatty." They think she's not ready for this to go deeper. Because here's the thing. That silence is actually a test, but it's not a game. It's him creating space to see if you can just be with him without needing everything to be light and fun and surface level all the time. He's checking if you can handle intimacy, if you can sit in a moment that feels a little heavy, a little charged without running from it. When you destroy that silence with nervous energy, you don't look friendly. You look scared. And scared doesn't move things forward. Comfortable does. Present does. That quiet moment is him saying, I feel good here. I don't need to fill every second with words. Show me you feel the same way. And if you can't do that, if you can't just sit there and be okay with the pause, he doesn't push harder. He pulls back. He assumes you're not there yet. He decides maybe this isn't what he thought it was. And he starts putting distance between you without ever explaining why. Number 2, he makes fun of you and pushes back when you say things. When a guy starts teasing you or challenging little things you say, most women read it completely wrong. They either think he's just being playful and friendly, or they think he's being kind of rude. And because they misread what's actually happening, they respond in ways that kill everything. They get apologetic. They try to explain themselves. They laugh it off like it doesn't matter. And right there, his interest starts dropping. Teasing isn't random. It's not something guys do just for fun. When a man teases you, he's testing something very specific. He's creating a little bit of tension to see how you react. Not to hurt you, not to make you feel bad. To see if you can handle it when things aren't completely smooth. Can you stay solid when he playfully pushes back, or do you fold the second he's not being super nice? He might say something like, oh, you think you're so clever, don't you? Or, yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it happened. Or, really, you're going with that story. On the surface, it sounds light, just joking around. But underneath, he's watching you closely. He's seeing if you laugh and push back, or if you get defensive and try to prove you're right. If you get flustered, if you start over-explaining, if you act like you need him to believe you or approve of you, he learns something important about you fast. He learns that a little pressure throws you off, and that doesn't feel good to him. Guys are attracted to women who can hold their own, not in a mean way, in a grounded way. They want to see that you're not so fragile that one little joke makes you crumble. Because if you can't handle teasing, how are you going to handle real disagreements? How are you going to handle stress? How are you going to handle life when things actually get hard? That's why teasing usually goes up when his interest goes up. He's not pushing you away. He's pulling more information out of you. Here's where most women completely miss it. They try to pass the test by being cute or funny or super agreeable, but that's not what he's looking for. He doesn't want you to win him over with charm. He wants to see that you don't need to win him over at all, because he's not teasing you to see if you're entertaining. He's teasing you to see if you're solid, if you stay calm, if you smile and tease him right back, if you don't take it seriously or personally. Something shifts in him. He relaxes. He gets more curious. He feels like, okay, she can handle me. But if you fold even a little bit, if you get defensive or try too hard to smooth things over, that impression lands hard. This girl can't handle it when I'm not being sweet. And once he thinks that, it's really tough to change his mind. So remember this, he's not teasing you because he's bored. He's testing how you show up when the vibe shifts. And if you stay steady, if you don't lose yourself over a little back and forth, he doesn't back off. He leans in harder. Number 3, he looks at you longer than normal and doesn't look away first. This is one of the quietest signs a guy gives, and it's also one of the most telling. You won't notice it if you're distracted or in your head. You'll only catch it if you're actually paying attention. He looks at you, and instead of glancing away after a second or two like people normally do, he holds it. His eyes stay on you. He doesn't blink a bunch or shift his focus to something else. He just looks, calm, steady, waiting to see what you do next. There's no performance, no trying to be intense or romantic, just a simple, clear moment of him looking at you like he's taking you in. This isn't flirting the way most people think of it. It's interest, real interest. When people feel uncomfortable around someone, their eyes don't stay put. They dart around. They find something else to look at. They break contact fast because holding it feels too vulnerable, too exposing. But when a guy feels good around you, when he's actually drawn to you, his body relaxes. And one of the first places that shows up is in his eyes. He's not in a hurry to look away. He's okay being seen and okay seeing you. That longer eye contact is his way of saying, I'm comfortable here. I like looking at you. I'm not afraid of this moment. Picture it. You're talking, or maybe you just finished saying something. You look up and his eyes are already on you, and they stay there, not in a creepy way, in a way that feels warm, solid, like he's not worried about being caught staring because he's not trying to hide anything. Most women do one of two things here, and both of them ruin it. They either look away immediately because it feels too intense, or they smile and say something to break the moment. And in doing that, they shut down exactly what he was creating. Here's what most women don't get. That eye contact, that moment where he's just looking at you without saying anything, that's him being vulnerable. That's him putting himself out there without words. He's giving you a chance to see him, really see him, and he's hoping you don't run from it. When you break that eye contact, when you laugh it off or change the subject or look down at your phone, you're not being polite. You're rejecting the moment. You're telling him it's too much, too soon, too real. And he doesn't try again. He doesn't explain that he was trying to connect. He just stops doing it. He goes back to being more casual, more surface level, more safe. Because you showed him that depth makes you uncomfortable. The right move when he holds eye contact isn't to escalate or do something dramatic. It's just to stay there, hold his gaze, let the moment exist, maybe smile a little, maybe not. But don't run, don't fill it with words, don't make a joke, just be there with him. Because that moment, that simple moment of eye contact that lasts 3 seconds longer than it should, that's trust. That's him saying, I see you and I'm not scared of what I feel. And if you meet that without panic, without needing to make it lighter or easier, everything changes. He feels safe. He feels seen back. And that's when guys start thinking about forever, not just right now. Number 4, he fixes himself when you're around. When a guy likes you, his body reacts before his brain even catches up. This isn't something he plans. It's not a strategy. It's pure instinct. And you'll see it in tiny movements that most women completely overlook. He adjusts his shirt when you walk up. He runs his hand through his hair when you start talking to him. He straightens his posture when he notices you looking. Maybe he checks his reflection real quick, or messes with his collar, or brushes something off his pants that isn't even there. Most women see this stuff and think nothing of it. Or worse, they assume he does that with everyone. But timing is everything. You need to watch when it happens. Does he fix his hair right after you arrive? Does he stand up straighter the second you give him your attention? Does he suddenly care about how he looks when the conversation turns toward just the two of you? If his appearance shifts in response to you being near him, that's not random. That's his body saying your opinion matters. Here's something most women don't think about. Men don't put in effort where there's no reward. When a guy doesn't care about a woman, he doesn't care how he looks around her. No adjustments, no awareness, no thought about his appearance. She's just background. But when he's attracted, when he actually wants you to notice him, his body tries to rise to the occasion. He wants to look better because he wants you to see him as better. Think about how often this happens after he's been away from you for even a few minutes. He goes to the bathroom and comes back looking slightly more put together, hair fixed, shirt tucked in better, face washed. That wasn't an accident. He used that time to make sure he looked good for you. And here's the mistake women make all the time. They see it and they do nothing. They don't acknowledge it. They don't respond to it. They just keep acting normal, like nothing changed. And in doing that, they waste the opportunity he just created. Because when a guy fixes himself for you, he's saying, I care what you think of me. I want to look good in your eyes. That's vulnerable. That's him trying without announcing that he's trying. When you notice that shift and you don't react, when you don't meet his effort with anything he notices, he thinks maybe she didn't see it, or worse, maybe she doesn't care. And slowly he stops doing it. He stops putting in that little extra effort because it's not getting him anywhere. But if you see it, if you smile or compliment him or just show in some small way that you noticed, everything changes. He knows his effort landed. He knows you're paying attention. And guys will keep doing things that get noticed. They'll keep showing up better when they know it matters to you. So when he smooths his shirt or fixes his hair right before talking to you, that's not vanity. That's interest. And if you ignore it, you'll tell him his interest doesn't matter. Number 5, he keeps talking to you even when there's nothing important to say. One of the clearest ways to tell if a guy likes you has nothing to do with chemistry or sparks. It has everything to do with effort. Because when a man isn't interested, he protects his time and energy. He keeps conversations short. He answers questions without asking any back. His responses get smaller and smaller until the whole thing just dies. Even if he's polite about it, you feel it. He's already gone. But when he's into you, something completely different happens. He keeps the conversation going even when there's no real reason to. The topic isn't exciting. You're not talking about anything deep or meaningful. You could be discussing the most boring everyday stuff, and he's still right there, still engaged, still asking questions, still responding like it matters. That's not about the subject. That's about you. Men don't waste words on women they're not interested in. They just don't. So when he keeps talking, when he finds ways to extend the conversation, when he asks follow-up questions about things that don't even matter, he's doing something very specific. He's choosing to stay connected. Pay attention to how he shows up. Is he just answering you, or is he throwing energy back to keep things alive? There's a huge difference between being polite and being present. Polite is surface level. Present takes effort. Think about this. You finish saying something, the conversation naturally ends. Most guys would just let it drop and move on. But he doesn't. He brings up something new. He asks about something you mentioned 5 minutes ago. He finds a reason to keep you talking. That's not small talk. That's investment. And here's where women mess this up. They think his talking means nothing's happening. They think if he really liked me, he'd make a move, not just chat. So they treat his effort like it's ordinary. They don't give it back. They answer his questions, but don't ask their own. They stay surface level because they're waiting for something bigger, something more obvious. And in doing that, they completely miss what he's actually doing. When a guy stays engaged when he doesn't have to, he's building a foundation. He's creating comfort so that when the moment comes to go deeper, it doesn't feel forced or scary. He's showing you, I like being around you. I like hearing you talk. I'm not in a rush to be anywhere else. That's him setting things up. That's him hoping you're feeling the same way. Because if you're not matching his energy, if you're not staying just as engaged, he starts to pull back, not because he's playing games, because he thinks you're not that interested. And once he decides that, once he feels like he's the only one putting in effort, he stops. He doesn't make a big deal out of it. He doesn't tell you he's done trying. He just quietly fades out. Texts get shorter. Conversations get more basic. He stops finding reasons to keep talking. And you'll sit there wondering what changed, not realizing you let his investment dry up because you never watered it back. So when he's talking to you about nothing, when he's keeping things going for no clear reason, understand what's really happening. He's already decided he likes you. What he's waiting to see now is if you like him too. And if you never show him that, if you just keep treating him like he's anyone, he won't wait around forever hoping you figure it out. Number 6, he doesn't move away when you get close. Bodies tell the truth before mouths ever do. People have automatic reactions to closeness. When someone we're uncomfortable with gets too near, we react instantly. We step back. We lean away, we cross our arms, we create space without even thinking about it. This happens faster than words, faster than politeness. The body protects itself first. So when a guy doesn't move away from you, when he stays exactly where he is or even leans in closer, that means something bigger than most women realize. Imagine you're standing next to him and your arm brushes against his. He doesn't shift away. Or you're sitting close and your knee touches his leg. He doesn't adjust. You lean in to say something, and instead of creating distance, he stays put or tilts toward you even more. That's not nothing. That's his body saying you're safe, you're welcome, I want you here. When a man is attracted to you, your closeness doesn't make him uncomfortable. It makes him more focused, more present. He doesn't stiffen up or pull back. He relaxes. His body actually softens around you because proximity to you feels good, not threatening. And this is where so many women freeze up. They notice the closeness. They feel the shift. And instead of staying in it, fear takes over. They start thinking, what if I'm reading this wrong? What if he's just being nice? What if I do something and he pulls away? So they do nothing. They stay still. They wait for him to do more. But here's the problem. He already did something. He stayed close. If he didn't want you near him, you'd know. His body would have told you immediately. The fact that he's not creating distance, the fact that he's letting you into his space, that it's him answering a question you didn't ask out loud. When she moves closer and he allows it, when she stays in his space and he doesn't retreat, that's permission, that's interest, that's his body saying yes before his mouth says anything at all. And here's where leadership actually matters. Not force, not pushiness, just clarity, matching his signal with your own. Because when he stays close and you pull away, when you create the distance he refused to create, he reads that loud and clear. He thinks she's not comfortable. She doesn't want this. and he stops trying. He doesn't bring it up. He doesn't ask why you moved. He just quietly decides that maybe he got it wrong. And once that thought settles in, the door closes. So when you notice he's not backing away, when you feel him stay in your space or even come closer, the move isn't to freeze or panic or overthink it. The move is to stay, to be okay with the closeness, to let your body say back to him, I'm good here too, because that's the conversation happening, not with words, with space, with proximity, with trust. And if you can't meet that, if you keep creating distance where he's creating closeness, he eventually stops trying to get near you at all. Number 7, he creates moments where something could happen. This is the sign that ties everything else together. By this point, if you've seen the other 6, his feelings aren't forming anymore. They've already formed. Now he's just waiting to see if you're going to meet him. Here's the mistake most women make. They wait for him to be direct. They wait for some clear, unmistakable move. They wait for him to say something obvious that removes all doubt. That almost never happens. Instead, what he does is create the space. He slows things down. He shifts the environment. He says something that lingers in the air, something that feels more personal than it needs to be. Like, I really like hanging out with you, or this feels different, or I don't usually do this kind of thing. On the surface, those lines sound casual, but they're not casual. They're set up. He's building the moment and watching to see if you recognize what he's doing. Men who are attracted don't usually make the final move out of nowhere, not because they're scared, though some are, but because they want to feel wanted back. They want to know that if they step forward, you're going to meet them, not reject them. So instead of just going for it, they create the conditions. They make it easy for something to happen. You'll see it in how he positions himself, sitting closer than before, holding eye contact longer, letting silence sit without filling it, bringing up feelings without naming them directly. Everything slows down. The world gets smaller. It's just you and him and this heavy moment that feels like it's asking you a question. And if you've noticed all the earlier signs, if he stayed when things got quiet, if he tested you with teasing, if he looked at you longer than normal, if he fixed himself around you, if he kept talking when he didn't have to, if he let you stay close without moving away, then this moment isn't a mystery. It's the result. He's already made a decision. What he's waiting for now is whether you're willing to make one too. This is where hesitation costs you the most, because if you don't do anything, if you just sit there waiting for him to take all the risk, he doesn't think, oh, she's being traditional. He thinks she's not sure, or worse, she's not interested. And once that lands, he's done. He won't bring it up again. He won't try to create another moment like this. He'll just pull back emotionally, protect himself, and move on. No anger, no drama, just distance. Because this kind of moment doesn't come around twice. It only shows up when everything